What's up everybody, this is Leo. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a drain and refill on a 2003 Toyota Camry. It's a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that we're using here. Automatic tranny, of course. I believe this is going to be, I'll put a little note down here, but I think this is going to be for 2002 through 2006 Toyota Camrys. The funny thing about this, which is one of the first things I'll mention, is that on the dipstick itself for the automatic transmission, it says no need to change the tranny fluid under normal conditions. No need to replace ATF under normal driving conditions, which is a bunch of crap. That's a real good way of just, I don't know, I guess selling you a rebuild later on for your transmission, which is just a bunch of crap. Transmission fluid wears just like any other fluid. Don't ever let a mechanic try to tell you that there's lifetime fluid. They'll call it lifetime fluid. Toyota themselves might call it lifetime fluid, but no fluid is lifetime. It's always subject to wear and tear, heat, breaks down, need to replace it. This one's been done within 6 months. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it again. A drain and refill does not replace all of the automatic transmission fluid in it. So some shops will try to sell you a flush. Don't do the flush. Typically, there's bits and pieces that wear and, you know, chunks of stuff, if you will, and over time that stuff can build up. And if you do a flush and it doesn't flush all those bits out, it can make them loose, and then now you got like big old chunks of I don't know, like clutch pack material or whatever floating around inside the transmission, which you don't want either. Drain and refill, several of them will eventually, you know, clear that out too. Now you can also drain the pan and replace the filter in here, which I believe is a screen. I'm not positive. I have not looked this stuff up. Just kind of, you know, I think that's what they do. But on these, drain and refill is awesome. Now, a lot of other automatic transmissions, on the automatic transmission pan, they don't include a bolt. For example, my Dodge Grand Caravan doesn't have an oil pan drain plug. So you have to remove the pan. So you might as well replace the filter while you're at it. Then that's how you change it. It makes a big mess. A lot of Toyotas, I believe all of them, not sure, all of the ones I've ever owned, have an actual drain pan. It takes a hex bolt. The hex bolt, it's shaped like a, you know, whatever. This is a 10 millimeter on the bottom of this. I'm gonna show you what it looks like underneath this car. You'll need an oil catch, of course, but this is the front of the car. That's the back of the car. And right here, this real flat pan here, that's the automatic transmission pan. Here's your little bolt. As you can see, it's got the weird shaped drain plug on it, which this fits. So of course you're gonna unscrew it and let the fluid flow out, and then replace the fluid. Don't do it all at once because you wanna make sure you get this right, the fluid level. You don't wanna overfill it. This one's currently overfilled a little. All right, so this is, it's gonna make a mess. It's a little breezy out here, but we're gonna do it anyway. Hang on, let me take my expensive watch off. There we go. There's some tranny fluid right there, folks. Also, don't over tighten these. I mean, where's it gonna go, you know? So if you over tighten, it's really hard to undo it. Please don't get on my sweater. There we go. It's pretty red. I don't know if you can tell by the camera, but it's pretty red. It's not that bad, but we want to do it again and again until it's nice and pretty. No, now the wind's picking up.
You're making a mess, honey.
Yeah. Expected. Got a little filler, got some wind. I always make messes.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're doing it right. On the bottom of these, they have a built-in magnet. You want to clean it with your rag. This is really clean, actually. There's nothing really coming off of it, so that's good. All right, you want to let this do this until it's, you know, starts going drip, 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 you know, like that, instead of a solid flow here. We're going to put this bolt back on, snug, not super tight, but just snug. And then I'll come up and show you how to fill it back up. Back up here top side, we pull a dipstick out, get a funnel. This one's actually a little too fat, but Hopefully it'll kind of stay while we do this. Okay, so just to let you know, you're gonna have to drain and refill this. This just gets part of the transmission fluid out of it, but not all of it. But still, this is a really good first step to take because it was done about 6 months ago. I'll let you know how I'm gonna do it, and then I'll let you know how really obsessive people do it. Now that I know it's been done, I'm doing it for what I assume is the second time. This is gonna get out, considerable amount of the old fluid mixed in with the new stuff. I'm gonna drive this thing for, probably 2 to 4 weeks, which is a little, maybe less than that, but 2 to 4 weeks, and then I'm gonna drain this out again. This will be the third time that it's done, and then the fluid should start looking really red, super clean, like clean fluid should be. Now, I went on some Toyota forums, and of course, if you go onto Toyota forums, you're gonna get like these uber nerds talking about this stuff, and they're really nuts about it. There are some really uber nerds out there who will do a drain and refill, and they'll drive it for 1 to 200 miles. They'll do a drain and refill, another 1 to 200 miles, another drain and refill. Then they'll drive it for about 2,000 miles, another drain and refill. And they're doing this like 4 times. Now, they did some math calculations on it to show how they get to the 100% mark doing it this way. It's important to get all of the old stuff out, but at the same time, I don't think you need to be busting out your calculator and doing it quite in that manner. If you want to do it, more power to you. But I've done this kind of a job since I was a teenager, and I've never had an automatic transmission fail because of this at all, ever. So, that being said, take it with a grain of salt. Don't blame me if something goes wrong. Should have had me do it if it does. I'm just kidding. But all right, we're gonna go ahead and fill it up. We're gonna fill it up slowly. You're not gonna put all 4 quarts that supposedly drain from it, or about 4 quarts. You wanna do maybe like 2.5, back it off the ramp, and then you're gonna check it and add as needed. You need to get the fluid back up to operating temperature. It expands, then it's going to be at the proper level of the dipstick. You don't want to try to adjust this while the tranny fluid's cold, because you're going to end up with the wrong tranny fluid level when it's hot and at operating temp. So I've got the Toyota Type 4 tranny fluid. This was actually only about $5 a quart at my local Lithia Toyota dealership. So I guess I'll just go with the Toyota stuff, at least for now. Look how pretty red it is. So I got a little bit of a different funnel situation going here, but you just start pouring. There's no magic to it.
Oh, but there is.
It's just, we're gonna do about 2.5 quarts, back it off the ramp so it's flat, run it through the gears, and then check it again. Quarts. Then I'll take it for a drive to make sure the tranny fluid gets real warmed up, come back and check it, and then adjust, precise at that point once the fluid is fully warmed up. All right, so now we put in 2.5 quarts. I'm gonna go ahead and check it. It's gonna be low, it should be. Yeah, it's very low. So we're gonna go ahead and add to it. We're gonna do a quarter of this. So we're gonna put in 3.25. So we're at 3.25, we don't want to overdo it. So at 3.25, I'm going to check it now, then I'm going to go drive it, and then I'm going to top off and make it accurate. So after driving it, I went and did, I used all 4 quarts. It's right here at my nail, which is that bottom hot hatch. This side looks crazy, but this is where it really is. It's right here where my fingernail is. That's the bottom of the hot. Now, I wouldn't say it's super warm. It's going to warm up when you drive it a little more than I did. So there's how you can actually tell. There's hot and 2 notches, and it's at the bottom of that after 4 quarts. Some people online have said that it's more like 3.8. So just watch it. I think it's going to depend on the car and what's happening and how it's jacked up and how much is actually going to come out when you change these. But for mine, it took 4 quarts of that Toyota tranny fluid. And we're good, it's clean. So that's all you gotta do. I would, drive it around a little bit more. Recheck it, of course, now that once it's really warmed up. And then change it again, sometime in the next, month or something. Change it a good 2 or 3 times. Then you should be good to go, about 30,000, 40,000 miles before you do it again.